Hi, Kate, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. I'm so excited to talk about you today, about your most recent release. You've just released It's Okay, I'm Okay, which I'm assuming is the first single of your next era. So why did you choose this as a first single, and how does it represent this next phase?
Well, I'm like the worst at picking which songs to come next. I feel like I write so much music and just have no idea like what order I should release them or anything. So, but the number one thing I think for this song was I had such a strong visual reference in my head. As soon as I finished the song and had the beat and had um the full idea of it, I knew exactly that I wanted to premiere it at Madison Square Garden, the last show on my tour. I knew what I wanted the video to look like. I knew how I wanted it to feel and come across. So I think the visual aspect was like very much the deciding factor on how I was gonna release this song. And everything visually has come together exactly the way I wanted it to, and feels really special to me.
Right. And what would you say is different now from the Think Later era? Like how does this both these eras compare and what can we expect?
I think this year, while writing, I create so many songs and so many different sounds and genres. Like everything that comes out is like just literally a percent of what I create all year long. So it's a lot of trial and error and experimenting on sonics, but I feel like I've gotten to work with some producers this era that I just really, really admire, and I feel like the sonics feel for me like are more production wise in the lane of music that I would listen to and put on in my car, and it just feels like it's a little more mature and grown, which is exciting to step into that as a 21-year old now.
Oh, you've got a stellar team in your first single. I gotta say that. So choreography is a big part of you and your art. So how important do you think choreography is for your music? How does one thing complement another when we're talking dancing and pop music?
I think the visual aspect of things, like I said, is so important for me. Like if I can't visualize a music video or choreography, it's hard for me to really believe in the song. So for this song especially, is I mean, as soon as you hear the song come on and the beat of it, I feel like it evokes something in me as a dancer that I don't quite feel as a singer. So it's this was definitely like very much inspired by the way I would dance to this. And Sean Bankhead just absolutely devoured the choreography and killed it like usual. So
You mentioned Britney Spears as one of your greatest inspirations. And one of the concerns that came up later in her career, over the last few years especially, was that she was maybe overly sexualized at a very young age. So, as a young pop star, is that a concern for you? And how do you make sure that you're comfortable when you're doing something sexier, unlike your last music video?
I think it's all about perspective on the art that you're making. I mean, for example, the music video that I just did, even in the scene where, it was like censored and people were really shocked about it. For me, I was on set in like full clothes. So it was all like post editing that like made it look so real. So for me, I'm viewing it as an art piece. I'm viewing it as me dancing through the streets and doing choreography that I love and wearing outfits that I think are cool, and bringing the song to life. And I think that's how I've initially viewed it. And so I think it's always interesting with women in general. I think sometimes the art part of it gets taken away and people only focus on your body or what you look like. And I think sometimes that can be like a little frustrating just because I don't look at my body when I'm watching the video. I look at the choreography. I look at the way it makes me feel. I look at the way it's shot, the angles, the coloring. And so it's just like, I think sometimes hard when people see it as, you know, all of it just being sexual when I'm like, there's so much to this and so much thought and creative and process behind this. That a lot of people work really hard to put together. And so I think, but that's, a tale as old as time. I feel like that's happened with so many female artists for as long as we can remember. So, I mean, it's something you just kind of have to ignore because if I see it as something where I feel comfortable and I feel like it's for the art and for the dance of it, then I believe in it and I support it.
Absolutely. And you're playing Lollapalooza next year in Brazil. It's your first time here. Are you excited to play here? What can we expect from your set?
I'm so beyond excited. I've never been, and I've heard from many of my artist friends that Brazil's like one of the best crowds to play for. So I think it's going to be really fun.
Right. And looking at your success, Sabrina's success recently, Chapel's, do you think people missed straightforward, catchy pop music with fun choreo?
Of course, I think choreography and dancing is human nature. Like people love that and love that about music. Music is to spread joy and happiness, and there's moments where music can be heart-wrenching and depressing and I mean love that kind of music. That's my shit. That's what I listen to all the time, but I do think that there's you know, that's also another part of art that is, I think, sometimes lacking is the happiness and the joy of it, and just doing things that feed your soul and make you happy. And I mean, that's what all of it stems from for me is I dance on stage because it just brings me a lot of joy, and I think people can see that.
I feel like there was a time where, this bubblegum pop music was looked down upon, but I feel like this is a good time to release this kind of music. I feel people are back feeling it again, liking this type of music again.
Yeah, I think people want to feel happy sometimes. And I think that's sometimes for a while got forgotten, being like the only thing people can find cool is depressing, dark music. And I think, there's so many textures and sounds in music that happiness is an emotion that a lot of us want to feel through music and be reminded of that.
For sure. My time is ending now. I just wanted to tell you that I have an idea and it's gonna be a hit and I wanna be credited when it comes out. I think you should jump on a song with Addison Rae, who's your friend,
Okay.
Carly Rae Jepsen, fellow Canadian pop star, and call it something like maybe Pop Revolution or something
Wow.
like this.
Okay. Noted.
No, I love to listen to this. Thank you so much for your time, Tate. It was a pleasure talking to you.
So nice to see you. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Wow.